Ready? So today we are going to be reading a new book called Alison Hubble. Now, I've read this once and this book is quite a good book. I'm telling you. Right. This is the story of Alison Hubble who went to bed single and woke up double. Oh dear, so she went to bed with one Alison, but woke up with two Alisons. Woke up with a twin in her single bed. Who are you? Who are you? She said. Then her dad came in. Good grief, ye gods! Mr. Humble groaned as he gazed at the sight of Alison cloned. I can't believe it. It's hardly fair. One daughter's enough. We don't need a pair. There's her dad walking into the room, and there they are, the two Alison Hubbles in a single bed. Wonder what's going to happen next. Then Mrs. Hubble came in. Oh, Alison, cried her mother. You always said you wanted a brother. I'm quite overcome. Your gran will go wild. We don't expect this from an only child. After that, Alison had a word or two. I want to get up. That goes for me. I'm hungry and thirsty and bored. I agree. But what to wear? Yes, that's the trouble. I'm in two minds, said Alison Hubble. By and by, Alison went to school with a letter for the teacher. Dear Miss Mott, I thought I ought to write a note about our Alison who doubled in the night. Her father and I were powerless to prevent what can only be described as this singular event. We're sorry indeed to put you to this trouble. Yours sincerely, Maureen Hubble. P.S. Her extra dinner money is is ended. Well, at first it was fun, lots of laughs. A queue formed at playtime for the autographs. Presently, however, there was a spot of bother. Her friends said, But Alison, which one's really you? Come on, we're flummoxed. Give us a clue, said Alison. Well, I'm me, said Alison. I'm me too. No, you're not. What rubbish. I'm more me than you. Later, while the children were getting ready for the games, the cloakroom was crowded but got crowded even more, when all of a sudden there was Alison times 4. Oh no. So, Alison only had 2 Alisons, but then now there's 4 Alisons. She's doubled again. She had doubled again in seconds flat, like magical rabbits from a conjurer's hat. Her friend was delighted, and Concord were delighted, and poor Alison, they sympathised, and this is great. They argued in football match which team should be in. With Alison in goal, we'd bound to win. Then it was home time. Well, no one's going to score with 4 Alisons, are they? I don't think so. Only if they shoot high. When Alison came through the door and kept on coming, her father put his glasses on and started drumming with his fingers on the table. It was bad enough before. Now we've got quads. Alison, meanwhile, was feeling hungry. Cheese for me. I'd like ham, boiled eggs and salad, please. Bread and jam. Then she went outside and upstairs too, and sat in the kitchen and sat on the loo. Did the washing up and some of the drying. Ran into the garden and knocked herself flying. Oh no. Wow. Let's see what happens next. At 8 o'clock, Alison went to bed. She tiptoed on the landing, giving herself a scare. As she whispered in the darkness, "Alison, you're still there." And before she went to sleep, each one of her stared at the ceiling with a puzzled look on her face and a curious quadruple feeling. When morning came, Mrs. Hubble called to her husband, "Dad, wake up, come on, and count her. I can't bear to look," she said. So Alison's father arose and peered anxiously in at each door. "There were 2 in here," he reported, "and 2 in the bath makes 4, and 2 in the kitchen," cried Alison, "and 2 on the stairs makes 10. Maths wasn't her strongest subject. I think we've doubled again." Later she had her breakfast and went off and 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 off to school. What's happened? She's turned to 4, but now she's doubled again. So now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now there's 8. Oh, wow. Alison's doubled again. 2, 4, 6, 8. From 4, so from 4 now to 8, there was 2 before, so now there's 4, and now there's 8. 8. Oh, wow. And at the end, there's a really big amount. There is. Where a crowd was sitting at the playground gate with a noisy welcome, 2, 4, 6, 8. A reporter was there from the local press. "Who's Alison Hubble?" And the crowd said, "Guess." "Who do we appreciate?" "Alison." The photographer with him lined up Alison like a football team that had won the cup. Eventually, Alison reached her classroom and the teacher called the register. "Alison Hubble." "Here, miss, here, 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 miss." Wow. Lots of Alison Hubbles. "Extra books were needed, extra chairs and tables," said Miss Mott, all muddled up. "What you girls need are labels." After school, Alison came home to find her dad in his best suit and her mum looking brave with a cup of tea, but being interviewed for the BBC, while a crowd on the street went ooh and ah, "Here's Alison at etc." There were TV cameras and TV van, microphones, cables, and Alison's gran, who was complaining about the unfairness of it all. But Alison by now had complaints of her own. "I'm fed up with the crowds. I want to be alone." She refused to be filmed for the news at 10, stamped up to her room, and doubled again. "Oh no," said her mum. "What a tragedy." I can't say it. Tragedy. There. I can't say it. To cook her tea. "You're right," said her dad. "It's rotten luck. We'll have to do the shopping with a 3-ton truck." Alison, however, cheered up. She went into the garden, yes, out the lawn, stood a great big tent with sleeping bags, to which the council had lent. Yet even then there were certain snags, and she doubled that night and got stuck in the bags. In case you've lost count, there were now 32 of her. When Alison's fame continued to spread, "She's 1 in a million," the papers said. Ferocious professors and experts also took an interest in her. They studied her tongues and tapped her knees and talked of split personalities. And they wondered where the world was heading and whether or not they could stop her from spreading. They are wondered yet in UK have known, for the numbers of Alison continue to grow. That she's lately reached a huge amount. though how many is uncertain. We've all lost count. Meanwhile, Alison, who has to speak, ran out of her tent. It was personally leaning on Stoke-on-Trent. All of it! There's a whole town of Alison Hubble. Look how many! There's a whole city of her. Wow. I bet there's around 100 Alisons there. I've counted this before, and there's around 100. There's around 224. So there's 225 Alison Hubbles in this photo. There's 225 Alisons. Well, that might be it for today, because it has been 10 minutes reading Alison Hubble. So I finally think now it's time to say bye. So, now it's 10 to 11 minutes. So bye guys, and don't forget to click that subscribe button to really help me out. So bye.